we talked about a little bit of Matt Reeves, the Batman.
Yeah.
You said you had some information about Ben Affleck's Batman, and let's hear it.
All right, everybody.
All right, we're all getting out of this. It's only.
Oh, it's only me now. The whole show is mine. I'm not ready. No, I'm kidding. So I was told recently that the Batman project with Ben is still moving forward. They're still discussing certain aspects of what they want to do. The one overlying aspect, I mean, they've decided more Deathstroke, right? A more they wanted to go into Jared Leto stuff, but specifically one aspect of Batman's history that involves the Joker. And I'll say it again. You took something from me. Now I'm going to take something from you. That is what we tweeted earlier this week once I got the news. And that is part of the Batman proposition, the plot. That is what we're going with. All right. The big plot point is explaining what happened to Batman, who he lost, and how it turned him the way it did. It's going to lead into that damage tattoo and everything. So people, if you're really paying attention, you know exactly what that means.
Lightcast
Mind blown.
That sounds like a very dangerous.
Lightcast.
All right, greetings, true believers. Trying some new angles, got some new gear, been out for a little while, whatever. I'm still working on it. It's gonna keep being like this for a while, so stick with me. Like, share, and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. We'll just jump into it. We got the new Batman, or at least we found out who he is, and he is a fox, but he's a fox that no one has heard of. I certainly didn't know that Lucius had a son, let alone two. Yes, so apparently Luke Fox is not Jared Leto. Tim Fox is Luke Fox's long-lost brother. They went there. This is what it's become. And here's the thing. I actually would have liked this better if it was just Luke Fox. This is actually even worse. The whole subverting expectations thing has always proven to be lackluster. We saw what happened with Rian Johnson's Star Wars and the whole idea of Snoke being tossed out the window, Rey's backstory being tossed out the window, everything about subverting expectations in lieu of what? Of nothing. So instead of giving us something with someone we at least have some composition with, something that makes a little bit of sense, you're telling me some sort of long lost, out of the nowhere, blue out of the wilderness guy is going to take up the mantle of Batman, right? It's this attempt to try and outmaneuver, and be clever and cool, and it's not. It's really unimaginative. It's not. It really is. Back in September, Bleeding Cool was the first place to state that the upcoming Batman series by John Ridley could feature Tim Fox as the new Batman. Though this was after a year of stating it would be Luke Fox. That's what I mean. What's interesting about Bleeding Cool is that Bleeding Cool also said it could be Luke Fox. So I find it interesting that they have to first preface with, well, we also said it could be this other Fox. Nobody's even heard of this Tim Fox guy. Not great for Batwing 19 speculation, but excellent for Batman 313 speculation as first appearances go. This is a first look at him. I like the goatee sort of business going on. I've never been a fan of the sort of like stout, crunchy bat symbol. You gotta flex that thing across the chest. It's gotta be a target, buddy. DC Future State, not Slate. Now, DC Comics has confirmed that Tim Fox, the forgotten son of Lucius Fox until very recently, will be the Batman of the next Batman miniseries. Originally, this means he would have been the ongoing Batman, replacing Bruce Wayne as part of the 5G relaunch. See, they are still doing 5G. But that was no, they're not. But that was abandoned after DC Comics publisher Dan Didio was fired. Instead, he was replaced by Jim Lee, and Jim Lee has a little bit of sense to him. Instead, his run as Batman will be restricted to the 2 months of Future State in January and February. Of course, he could return as part of the DC Omniverse. DC Comics has stated that today the speculation finally ends with the reveal of this surprise variant cover to issue number 2 of the 4-issue January-February miniseries. And actually would like to make a clear distinction up until now, I knew it was going to be a miniseries, but I thought the miniseries was an introduction to him replacing Batman. Apparently, like I mentioned in previous videos, the 5G relaunch was widely panned, both by critics, insiders, content creators, writers and artists, and fans alike. No one wanted this, which is probably why Dan was fired and replaced by Jim Lee, and here we are now. Dystopian Futures revealed as Tim Fox, estranged son of Lucius Fox and brother of the former Batwing Luke Fox. So I understand I see. Well, with that, then I'm not as vexed as I originally was. Although I still don't like the way that they covered it, the Black Batman. And actually, when you think about it, that kind of makes that aspect worse. That the first time you see like a black character take the mantle of Batman, it's like a sort of knockoff character of someone who exists, right? Who's also a black character who could have just as simply been like Batman. It's a knockoff of a character who exists. They cover it from the racial angle, and then in reality, he's just kind of like a there and gone. He's a passing sort of thing, a sort of what if, an Elseworlds comic, if you will. I mean, I always have critique, but I just would like to read the story to find out how well it's written. John Ridley's a great writer, but I do have my opinions based off of how they decided to cover this, the angle that they approached it from. They opened the door. I'm merely walking through it. But Tim Fox's first comic book appearance was in Batman 313, April 10th, 1979. Okay, relatively recent. The character has since been teased in the current Batman line. So you're telling me he premiered like once or twice and then hasn't been seen in like 30 years? That's what I'm talking about. First as a mention in Family Ties, the John Ridley, Olivier Coipel story from September's Batman the Joker Warzone anthology. In October's Batman number 101, he also shows up as a conversation between Batman and Lucius Fox, who has since acquired the Wayne fortune and technology as a result of the Joker War. On February 23rd, 2021, Ridley and Coipel return. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Reunite to tell another story of the next Batman and give him a sidekick. So he can't even just get his own story. As part of DC's Batman Black and White anthology series. I want to read this. Hold on. In the Batman comic books, Lucius Fox and Tanya Fox have a number of children, but continuity has confused them over the years. Fox's youngest daughter, Tiffany, was first shown in Batman 3.0. This dude has multiple children, never brought up in the contemporary continuities. So, okay, let's open that door. They just kind of like, the whole thing is, if they hadn't been covering it from the angle of the Black Batman, look at Black Batman, I would just be like, well, damn, I wish it was Luke. And I still kind of wish it was Luke, since they set my expectations for it to be Luke. This is the whole thing about manufacturing consent and manufactured narratives. If you don't want the perception of something to be a particular thing, then be concerned with how you say things, right? Because of all this fanfare, I feel like it's for nothing at this point. It's not part of the main continuity. It's a mini series. He's gonna have a sidekick, so they got to spend time establishing the sidekick's character and backstory. Like, who cares? Who cares? I don't even care anymore. Damn. See, you saw that letdown line. No, I'm just kidding. But let me finish this. Tiffany, blah, 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 but was not substantially explored until the New 52. These characters appeared 30 years ago. The New 52, it was the New 52 and then Rebirth, so the continuity that she was brought into was rebooted, right? And all right, I'm done with this. We're moving along. We're definitely moving on. I could talk about the Warner deal that has recently come on. Christopher Nolan slamming AT&T and Warner Brothers. You know, they had a great, paraphrasing, he said, they had a great system of, creating content and distributing it to everyone, everywhere, and getting it out widely. You went to bed thinking you worked for like the greatest company in the world, and you woke up actually working for the worst streaming service in the world. What it is that they are going to have HBO Max premiere 17 A-list like theater releases on HBO Max. And the pirates, we know how we do. As soon as it hits streaming services, it's going to be an HD version of it out there. They're going to and here's the thing. I believe that they feel this is a desperate move, because you don't see Disney doing this, but Disney dominates like the overall market share for entertainment media at this point. They have The Mandalorian, which has brought millions, tens of millions, I believe. It's like something like 60 million subs over on Disney. HBO Max is somewhere in the double digits, but it's the low double digits, like 13 million, something like that. They're hoping Snyder Cut will bring in some subs. Nobody's compared to Netflix. And so HBO is desperate to try and bring as much revenue as they can via subscribers, because they know that most aren't going to flock to theaters, nor are there going to be enough theaters open for releases to make the money that they would like. And you can look at Tenet for that. So they're scared. I believe they're scared, and this is really the sort of Hail Mary that they have to offer in order to get something, to get some sort of money in. So, I could go on that. Patty Jenkins, she's the director and writer of Wonder Woman. And she went on and was talking junk about Joss Whedon's Justice League. The reason why I bring this up is because, drum roll please, we have, this is War Stew, shout out to War Stew's channel. There's been news about the new Batman series that's coming to HBO Max. Joe Manganiello, who plays Deathstroke, we went and talked about and I really should have just brought up the article. Let's see if I can find it. Joe Mangian. Oh, there we go. Let's talk about preparation, right? Again from Bleeding Cool. Oh, okay. So let me set it up. So, Lightcast Podcast. Shout out to Lightcast. They did their podcast. This guy over here in the corner, who's not very good at, and I'll play the clip somewhere in this video. It's only like a minute and a half. But anyway, the point is that he was just talking about different aspects of the show, because the show's going forward is just a matter of how they're going to be able to get everybody together, blah, blah, blah. And he wanted to talk about different aspects of the show. There's a deleted scene from Suicide Squad in which Batman references Joker killing Jason Todd. So we're more likely than not going to see that backstory fleshed out. And Joe Manganiello, Joe M, who plays Deathstroke, who I hope they have the mohawk picture. They don't. He's got the Deathstroke because they've been filming it. He's got this sick mohawk now. It's fucking badass. Anyway, Joe Manganiello, I might have to look that up too while we're doing this. He shared some details, so I'll read this. After the 2017 film, Justice League underperformed and caused a complete overhaul of the future of the DC lineup for Warner Brothers. Ben Affleck stepped away from the cinematic universe and left the Batman in need of, a new Batman. And the situation about how they depicted him leaving is just trash, because he's such a good man. He just was like, yeah, the pressure, it was too much, and so that's why I went and drank and da-da-da-da. And it's like, and then you find out that Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon pretty much shoved the concept that had been developed long before out of the door once Zack Snyder left. But I digress. Obviously, the situation has since been handled, because Joss sucks. And we'll be seeing Robert Pattinson don the cowl of the monumental hero. Not looking forward to that one. However, we'll see. However, there were still ideas that now remain left unfulfilled. We can still imagine what if. Thankfully, actor Joe Manganiello dropped a little more info about what Affleck's version could have looked like. In an interview with Yahoo Entertainment, the actor reveals it was a really dark story in which Deathstroke was like a shark or a horror movie villain that was dismantling Bruce's life from the inside out. It was this systemic thing. He killed everyone close to Bruce and destroyed his life to try and make him suffer because he felt that Bruce was responsible for something that happened to him. The outlet goes on to state that the film was likened to Born Again, a popular arc from Frank Miller's run on the Daredevil comic that ended up being semi-adapted in the third season of the Netflix and Marvel collaborative series. The actor also adds it was fucking awesome. It was really cool, really dark, and really hard, and I was very excited for it. With the upcoming Snyder Cut giving him a small chance to bring his character back once more, he tells Yahoo about the character's look. There was a climactic moment in my standalone story where I wanted Slade to shave his head into this warlike, I'm about to bring this photo up, baby, he looks so good, into this warlike mohawk, knowing that he was going off to his own death. I said to Zach, I always envisioned him with a big white mohawk, and he was totally, that is definitely Slade. That is definitely good old boy going out with a bang. He probably have war paint or some shit. That's why I like the way they kind of depicted him in Arrow. Yeah. Fucking Mohawk is so sick. Love it. Adore it. Putting it. I hope it goes in there. But I'm very excited to see them flesh out what seemed like from the details that have been released, a really fleshed out Batman saga. Right, there was something that was going to be like epic about the Batman movie, now turned into a TV series for the HBO Max. And I mean, here's the thing: keep in mind, because of last time, the way that it changed with the DC slate and the Batman movies and all the things that were going to happen. Once Batman v Superman underperformed, they changed everything. Justice League went from 3 movies to 2 to 1, then rewritten, right, and then Zack off of it altogether. Suicide Squad saw reshoots and recuts because that movie was actually supposed to tie into Justice League, or into Batman v Superman and Justice League both. Joker was supposed to make a deal with Darkseid to have parademons come, and that was supposed to be part of the invasion. There was a whole thing. They had a whole thing envisioned for this, and because BVS underperformed, they got skittish. So I say that to say that if Snyder Cut underperforms, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think you still think the trade's gonna keep moving as scheduled? No. So let's hope and pray this goes down as needed, because we really want to see this. I'm really excited, and Batfleck is back, baby. I keep telling people you can't put a good Dark Knight down. All right, I keep telling you. There's some people out there who actually like George Clooney as Batman. Why you do that? All right. So, lastly, up on the slate is Spider-Man 3. Alfred Molina. I should have already had this up. Spanish. We'll get there. So, Alfred Molina is coming back. Yeah. So, what we have so far, as far as I've researched, kept up with, Tobey Maguire is back. The Sinister Six are not going to be the main villains of the movie. The movie is not going to be the live action Spider-Verse, but I've heard from like Den of Nerds, shout out Den of Nerds, an interesting idea that it could set up the Spider-Verse. I've also heard an interesting idea, shout out Den of Nerds, that it could be a sort of thing where you do a sort of Scrooge situation, because you're having these previous iterations of Spider-Man come back. They could be throughout the multiverse, because it's all about the multiverse going forward in the Marvel Universe now and the MCU. So Tobey's coming back. You have Jamie Foxx as Electro coming back. You have Alfred Molina coming back as Dr. Octopus. So these are from 2 separate Spider-Man series, right? It's rumored that Andrew Garfield, they want him back, but he's being skittish and either talking more money or talking something, because he was the worst and he was slammed. So he's a little baby, his British sensitivities or whatever. So he's probably gonna come back. He would be a fool not to, honestly, with the level of hype this is generating, the fact that it's an MCU movie, it's in one of the most popular like movie lines of MCU movies. Why would you not come back? Even if they shit on you, you're still in a huge movie, dude. Stop being silly. And yeah, so let's read, and then we'll wrap this up. Spider-Man 3, bringing back, not to be confused with the previous Spider-Man, they mean MCU 3, obviously, bringing back Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus and past Peter Parkers. What is a spoiler? It's a question worth asking these days, as more and more comic book movie news is first reported by fan-driven blogs drawing from leaked set photos. For example, Alfred Molina's oft-rumor and now confirmed return as Dr. Octopus in the next Spider-Man movie. A spoiler? No. It wasn't. Will the character appear in the films? Because we don't know what the context is. He could be back from the dead. It could be an iteration of him from the Maguire-verse before he dies. We don't know. He could be a clone. We don't know. Will the character appear in the film's marketing materials, or is his return revealed in the script? I won't pretend to know, but what I do know is that the constant drip, drip, drip of comic book movie news, shout out to guys like me, sure has made the movies themselves feel anticlimactic. I want to be a scooper so bad, obviously. But if that's what people want, then who am I to argue? Just like Jamie Foxx's Electro, Andrew Garfield will be back. See, they're saying he will, but I'm getting news elsewhere. And if Andrew Garfield will be back, and if Sony Marvel can close a deal with Tobey Maguire, he'll be back too. See, this is the thing. So I'm hearing both. I hear sources that say it's Andrew Garfield that's holding up the train, and then there are far less saying that it's Tobey Maguire. As far as I know, Tobey Maguire was quick to sign on. I forgot Kirsten Dunst also came back too. And this writer goes on to say, I expect Emma Stone to reprise her role as Gwen Stacy, pregnancy permitting. Why? Because this third Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland will delve into the multiverse, just like it's animated, and that's what everyone keeps comparing it to, is Into the Spider-Verse. But I actually think that because to load the gun and shoot it right in the same movie, like, you have to set up the live action Spider-Verse before you just leap into it. With animation, you have a lot more latitude to do that. It's easy for some reason. It's easier for people to digest in an animated film, though we are coming into finally an age where people are starting to grasp the dynamic nature of, like, existence, right? Like a multiversal higher plane concept, right? Multiple planes of existence as a concept. That's my friend there. That's my brother in arms, actually. Truthfully, I'll never understand why fans want to know every little detail about a movie before they see it, though I can certainly understand the excitement surrounding Molina's return, seeing as his Doc Ock is the best villain, Spider-Man has ever faced on the big screen, hands down. He's an amazing actor. The Eight-Limbed Scientist was the best thing about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which remains the standout in the early Spider-Man franchise. John Watts is back to direct the new Spider-Man movie. Well, I thought Sam Raimi was on. But they'll have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and he will be a mentor of sorts. Freaking shout out to the amazing Lucas, my man. He always goes on, and he made a good point. Like, isn't it interesting how older hero movies didn't use the buddy system, and in particular in the context of Spider-Man, like, his, at least the previous iterations, it was him battling it out. You notice it's always him and someone else, and in most cases it's him and multiple people. I'm not really like, that doesn't bother me too much. I like the team ups. I like them trying to, because honestly, to have these heroes all go off on their adventures on the same planet, and in some cases in the same city, and never interact, it kind of seems like a little much to me. I'm all for practicality, even in my fanciful stories. But I digress. That's all for today. For now, please like, share, and subscribe. And the next video will probably have a different angle. We're testing it all out. It's a work in progress. But thank you for your time, and be well to each other always.